Hi, I'm Krista. Welcome to my channel. Today is the very beginning of Summerween, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to do a Summerween slash Halloween themed reading today with you. I actually just recorded an entire intro, like a pretty long intro, going through the channel messages, and I realized that the video wasn't recording at all when I went to start the reading, and that felt pretty discouraging. I felt very in the flow and tuned into like the energy, and I really felt like spirit was connecting with me. I actually feel like spirit's connecting with me right now, and I bring that up to say I feel like that is part of the energy. And with this reading, we're focusing on Summerween, which is July going into the fall. And I feel like there may be things that happen that could be discouraging if we allow it to be discouraging, like obstacles that can happen or like a resistance. And I feel like spirit is saying to push through those things because I feel like you are going through a transformation right now. And if you've seen any of my other videos on this channel, like that has been this recurrent theme. A new cycle is beginning and transformation is happening. And I say that because there is a book in front of me, and on the back of the book, it has the word transform. I have never noticed that book before, and I saw it like just now when I was like tapping into the energy of this reading. But Spirit always seems to start off my readings with music. Like whenever I sit down to channel and connect to the energy, they will like give me a song. And today the song was Finally It's Happened to Me. Where the song's Finally It's Happened to Me. And that's all I will sing for your sake. But I feel like that transformation that is happening, it's happening right in front of your face. Because the lyric goes, Finally it's happened to me right in front of my face, and I just cannot hide it. And I feel like that's because this thing that's been transforming in your life, it's been transforming over a long time. And because this cycle has been so long, you haven't noticed the transformation that has happened in your life. Or maybe you haven't taken the time to notice. Like you haven't really sat down with yourself and acknowledged where you've been, what you've been through. You just keep, plugging along. And the example that Spirit used to help me understand this was for a long time I had this hip pain. And I just assumed, oh, I'm like 41. This is me now. I just have hip pain now. It's just a thing. And I started exercising and doing yoga and stuff. And at first that really hurt. Like it really aggravated that pain. But yesterday I noticed when I was doing my workout, I was like lifting really heavy weights. I noticed that that pain wasn't there anymore. And I don't know at what point it went away, but I just noticed it yesterday. And I kind of feel like that's what this energy is. This, like, finally it's happened to me and it's right in front of my face and I don't even realize it. And maybe you've had some sort of transformation in your life, like emotional or physical, where the change has been so gradual that you haven't even picked up on it yet. But the lyric is right in front of my face and I just cannot hide it. And that made me feel that other people in your life have noticed this change, even though you haven't. And my eyes were drawn to two cats, these two cats I have here, as if they're like people popping over the fence to be like, what's up with this person? Like what's up with their energy? Like why are they so different? What's going on? And then these ghosts here, Spirit said that these ghosts are your ancestors like watching you. Like they're smiling at these changes that have happened in your life. Like they're so proud of you. Like they're just having a little ghost coffee chat and talking about how far you've come and all the success you've made, and you don't even realize it. Like you don't even realize how much work you've done and how much you've transformed. So when I looked into that song, I found it was released in September 1991 So I felt like this energy was going to carry us into September. And immediately 1991 broke down for 1010 for me, which is like the ending of a cycle. And then I looked up the album cover, and the album was a picture of a giant sunflower. And to me, that really represented the energy of what you're going into, the sun energy, like, and spirit gave me the words vitality, passion, exhilaration, fun, and this image of like dancing into September, and like dancing into the fall. These people, like the cats, are looking at you and like looking at your life. 11:11 on the timer right now. It's like you're in your backyard and you're dancing in your backyard, and the person's like looking over the fence like, what is their deal? Why are they so happy? And again, it's not to say that life isn't happening, that things aren't going wrong, or the normal ups and downs of life, but you're meeting them in a way where you're not reacting. You're not triggered by it as much. You're not reacting to it. You're remaining calm. Like you're dancing through it. Like you can see the lightness in life, even in the darker times, like you can see how to hold joy and pain simultaneously. It's like that feeling of like laughing at a funeral. It's making me emotional, but it's like you've learned how to hold space for both things at the same time. When you lose someone and you feel that loss, but at the same time, you're sitting around with family and friends, and you're telling stories about the person, and you can't help but just laugh. And you're holding that grief and that joy at the same time. And I feel like you've become almost a master at this because of things that have happened to you in your lifetime. And that's why your ancestors are so proud that you've understood this about life. This image here also makes me think of the like your ancestors almost at like a sporting game, like they're in the bleachers watching you and they're cheering you on. But yeah, like that's part of this reading, this feeling of discouragement or obstacles happening, and you're just dealing with it and moving on, and but doing so in a joyful manner. Like you feel the resistance and you do it anyway. You feel the discouragement, you feel the loss, and you keep moving forward. And you do so with gratitude and light in your heart. And I feel like joy is really just going to carry you through this season right now. So let's get on to the reading then. Before we begin, I want to set the intention. Angels and guides, please surround us with your love and light. Please guide us to the information that will help the viewer at this time. And I also wanted to take a moment to thank your guides and my guides for being here with us today. And also thank you for being here today and for choosing to hang out with me. Okay. The energy is Summerween. Okay, just to confirm, this is the Cups card in this deck. This is the deck, by the way. It's so cute. It's called Happy Halloween Tarot. I just thought it was really cute. Okay, with this Seven of Cups energy, my first thought was we are in a really powerful time of manifestation. And I feel like you in particular are very powerful right now with things that you want in your life because you've been through this great transformation. And you've kind of become like your own spiritual leader. And I feel like you're particularly powerful right now because you've been through this transformation. And with the Seven of Cups, it makes me feel that there are many opportunities available to you, but you need to focus your energy onto one thing, or even like two things, but focus on what is the most important thing to you right now. And that will be different for everyone. But I feel like if you focus on one thing, that spirit is going to help you with the other things. Or this one thing may have a domino effect on other things in your life. Like for instance, if you take care of yourself, I'm just thinking of, eating right and exercise. If you focus on that, the effects may spill out to other parts of your life because you may feel better and you may have more energy, and that will trickle down into other areas. Or maybe you focus on your mental health, and that will have an effect on other areas of your life. And also, I feel like with all these bats and how they're kind of flying around, I almost feel like that's distractions, or you have so many things on your mind that, like, so many things on your to do list that you are distracted and overwhelmed by the amount of things. So, focusing on one thing will help you move forward. And with the theme of Summerween, I'm just thinking of like kids being at home from school, or like maybe you're a mom and it's a lot harder to get things done with your children at home, or even just like getting ready to go back to school and having to go out and go shopping, and just everything's so expensive right now, and you may just have all these thoughts in your mind and like things that you want to do. And I feel like that's a specific example for somebody. And in that situation, Spirit's saying the best thing you can do is to focus on the present moment. And that is the one cup you can focus on, is the present. That gift of having your children around and spending time with them in the summer and making memories. 8 of Wands. Yeah, it's just fast moving energy. And there's the sun. And because these are brooms in this particular card, I I'm hearing sweeping change. Like something's happening, it's happening fast, and it's gonna be a sweeping change. And it's like from 7 to 8. Like here we go. Like finally it's happened to me. Like it's starting. And maybe everything's starting all at once, and that's why you could feel overwhelmed. Or you could feel like all these opportunities are coming in at once. Like before there was nothing, and now everything's happening. The Emperor. The Emperor to me is like structure. The Emperor to me is like structure, stability, leadership, authority. And I feel like those are things that you are mastering in your life. Like you rule your life now. Others aren't making decisions for you. And what I mean by that is you may have made decisions in the past based on what other people wanted, and now you're making those decisions for yourself, and that you have a plan. You know what you want, you've decided what you want with the 7 of Cups, and now you have a plan. You're focusing on that one thing, and you have a plan to put it into motion. And again, the Emperor represents that sun energy. And I also feel like you have this sense of confidence about what you're doing. Whereas you may not have had that in the past. You may have second guessed yourself, and now you know what you want. Surrender to the divine. Yeah, you've given up these other things. And you also know you can't do it on your own. Like in the past, like one of the things that you've started to understand is you can't do everything on your own. And I mean that from a spiritual perspective. Like maybe in the past you weren't allowing God into your situation because you felt like you needed to control it. So you weren't letting spirit and you weren't letting God, like you weren't allowing the time, like God's timeline. That's what it was. You weren't allowing God's timeline. Like there may be something that you wanted and it wasn't happening on your time. And it was very discouraging. It didn't, just like this reading, just like how this reading started, where I was recording and everything was going great, and then I realized I wasn't recording, or something happened and the recording stopped. I feel like something like that happened in your life, that you expected something to happen, or it was just the natural way. You thought it was like the natural way that it was supposed to happen, the natural timeline, and it didn't happen. And God saying that's because it's supposed to happen in divine timing. And I feel the timing is now. And I don't know what the situation is because, again, it's a collective reading, but it just could be so many things. Could be finding the perfect job. It could be having a baby or meeting someone or having friends in your life that you can really trust. It could just be so many different examples. Starting a project that's really close to your heart, like a creative project. And with the Emperor, I'm really getting, yes, have a plan, yes, have a structure, but don't focus on how it happens. Surrender how it happens to God. Relaxation. Stop your world from spinning by partaking in well-deserved moments of relaxation. Yeah, again, it's back to the beginning of all of these things going on around you and it being overwhelming and like maybe even stressing you out, and like surrendering all that to God and relaxing about, again, about how it's going to unfold. And I feel like Summerween, from now until fall, like you will see this thing happen in your life. It will unfold. And to be carefree about it, like it's again that energy of dancing and lightheartedness, not to grip on to whatever it is, but to just let it go, to be free with it. And because it's, the Halloween reading, there's a lot of orange, and I pulled the carnelian, but orange is popping up in other decks, and I feel that that is connected to your sacral chakra, that passion inside of you, like creativity, just to relax and feel into it, I guess. Very like go with the flow. Manifestation. Yeah, it's that orangey color again, which is crazy because there's all these cards in the deck and the two oranges came out. And it's a callback to the very beginning of the reading, of talking about how you are in this energy of being able to manifest what you want. Like you are a powerhouse of manifestation at this time. It's like the sun's energy. What's going on in the heavens and what's going on astrologically and with like the actual sun changing. I follow a geophysicist on YouTube and I cannot remember his name, but he is always talking about the sun is having these like historical changes right now. And I feel like you're part of that energy. And the emphasis here to bring in these manifestations is not not try to control it, to not try to control how it comes in or force it to happen. I'm hearing have a plan, work on it one step at a time. It's very night of this is night yeah, like the Knight of Pentacles, like very slow, steady movement, one at a time. Like it's coming, and just relax into it. Surrender that control to God. Tears of joy and sadness. Wow, that's what we talked about at the very beginning of this reading. How you've learned to hold both together at the same time. And I feel like that's what's making you so powerful. Okay, this is what the guidebook says. Life is rarely simple. There is no such thing as completely good or bad. Even the best outcomes may come with a price, and even the worst disasters can often have a silver lining. Loss and grief show us the value of what we had and how lucky we were to have it. Wow. I mean, that's exactly what Spirit was saying at the very beginning of this reading. The toughest challenges give us the opportunity to rise above. That doesn't mean that the hard stuff isn't hard. Of course it is. But if you can find the positive side of even the worst events, it will help you to stay strong and keep moving forward. Maybe you can even inspire others who are dealing with their own difficulties to keep moving forward too. Yeah, it's the cats looking at you. Like how we discussed in the channel message. People are like, "What is their deal?" What, like, you see what's going on. You see what's happening in the world. Why are you so relaxed about it? Why are you so chill? And it's because you know that you're protected and you're safe and you are giving it to God. You know, like I said earlier, it's about you're not being triggered by these things happening because you've learned how to deal with it. Like you transform yourself and you understand that duality about life of having the joy and the sorrow together. Okay, back to the guidebook. Think about the tough times you have come through in the past and look back at what you followed. I'm thinking of a particular situation that I'm feeling called to tell you about. My grandmother, who is one of my guides now, I never met her because she passed away in her 20s. Her name is Eleanor, and she passed away because she had a tonsillectomy, and the doctor that performed her tonsillectomy was drunk. So she ended up losing too much blood during the surgery and she passed away. And my grandfather never remarried, even though he was really young when she passed away. Like they were basically newlyweds and they had three little kids because she was the love of his life. And it was such a tragic story. And it really shaped the family and how my dad was raised and how I was raised. Like this tragic thing that happened. And whenever I go back home, I always go up to the cemetery and I sit with them, with my grandparents, and I sit with Eleanor and my grandfather. And I don't know, it's weird. Like even now, like this situation didn't happen to me, and I technically don't know her because I never met her. The sadness is so overwhelming to me. Like it was such a tragedy, you know? And when I was up at the cemetery, it was making me upset and emotional like it is now. I tell you all of that to tell you that the spirit of my grandmother spoke to me that day when I was at the cemetery. And what she told me was not to focus on the pain, to not be sad, to not focus on this grief and this tragedy that had happened. And she wanted me to focus on the joyful things in life. She told me to focus on the things that made me happy, particularly like the simple little things in life, Like that was like her message to me. That even though this really tragic thing had happened, she was really grateful for the life that she lived, even though it was short. And that, now that she's on the other side, she's like with us always. I feel like they really wanted me to tell you that story because maybe you've gone through something similar. You've gone through something that brought you great sorrow, or you've lost someone and they're just saying that they are with you. And I feel like I don't have to tell you to focus on the little things because that's something that you've done for yourself. You transformed that. And I get that from the lotus in her hair in this card. They say the lotus comes up through like the muck and the mud and blooms into this beautiful flower, and I feel like that's what you have done in your life. And again, there's this wand in this card pointing back to how powerful of a manifester you are now because of these life experiences that you've been through. Spirit is even giving me the example right now of not just your life, but your ancestors' life. And you are the change maker in your family. You're the one that has understood how to alchemize this process. Back to the guidebook, it says, think about the tough times you have come through in the past and look back at what you followed. Did you survive? Did you grow from the experiences and become stronger or wiser or kinder? Did a closing door open another one for something good? If so, take a breath, Look at whatever you're dealing with right now and remind yourself that one way or the other, it is going to work out okay. Perhaps not the way you want it to, but okay. But I don't think it's going to work out okay. I think everything's going to work out magically, is the word I'm hearing. It's going to be like magic. And it's not because you controlled it that way, it's because you've surrendered it to God. It says, it is okay to be sad. It is also okay to be happy, even when things are horrible. There are two sides to every coin, and no situation is black and white. Getting through day to day life is often dependent on finding a balance. And again, I feel like you found that balance. Peppers, 28. There's that 10 again. Be fierce about the ways in which you protect yourself. Allies await. Being protected through this. And that's why you're comfortable with surrendering it to God, because you understand now that you are being completely protected. Your angels are protecting you, your ancestors are protecting you. Scarecrow. Remember that you are not alone. Move with confidence as you are guided. And there's the sunflowers. That's sun energy. Spirit does that so often where like the very beginning of the reading, they use the end of the reading to wrap it back up to the very beginning. And this is just confirmation that again you are so protected during this and you are not walking this journey alone. I kind of want to see what the symbolism of sunflowers are because it's come up so many times now. One of the most widely recognized symbolic meanings in sunflowers is their association with positivity and joy. The bright yellow petals and the sun-like appearance of the flower evoke feelings of happiness and warmth. Sunflowers have the power to uplift our spirits and bring a sense of optimism to any space. Scientific research has also shown that sunflowers have a positive impact on our well-being. Studies have found that the exposure to sunflowers can increase feelings of happiness and reduce stress levels. The vibrant color and unique shape of the flower stimulate our senses and trigger the release of endorphins, the body's natural mood boosting hormones. Simply having sunflowers around can create a more positive and cheerful atmosphere. Another symbolic meaning associated with sunflowers is their representation of growth and resilience. Sunflowers are known for their ability to grow tall and strong, even in adverse conditions. They can withstand harsh weather, poor soil, and limited resources, making them a powerful symbol of resilience and perseverance. And I feel like Spirit is saying, you are the sunflower. Like, you've grown tall and strong. And I'm drawn to how these sunflowers in this card are kind of growing over the scarecrow. And the scarecrow is like supposed to be scary, right? It's supposed to keep things away. And I feel like whatever fears you had, that you understand those fears, you're recognizing them, and that is a block that has been removed. And that is another reason you become this powerful manifester. So maybe what you could do for yourself is plant some sunflowers. I think if you were to actually plant sunflower seeds, that they would probably be up by the fall, like the September. Or maybe just go to the store and get yourself some sunflowers and keep them nearby to remind you of your joy, that lightness that you are radiating right now, the sun energy, and to banish with this banishing here, to banish any kind of energy that could cast doubt or a shadow onto that energy, to keep your energy light. And I think you know how to do that. Just like what my grandmother said about focusing on joy and the little things in life. That's what's going to bring you your happiness. With that, I'm going to close out the reading today. Thank you for being here with me. I hope this reading has brought you clarity, and I'm so happy that you chose to hang out with me today. If you're still here, maybe comment like a pumpkin or a sunflower to celebrate Summerween. Until I meet with you in the next reading, I'm wishing you a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you. Bye.